Welcome back to the Grand Slam channel. Today is Thursday, January 9th. We got 8 NBA games today. One of them might be a DNP due to the fires with the Lakers and the Hornets game. So keep an eye on that. But I do have 5 good props. I did post my day 1 of the Latter Day Challenge 2 props last night. Got some value. I think you can still get the same value for NBA first half, and I am going with Danny Avdija and Walker Kessler. Both of them are projected to go over their full game lines on DG with a 53% hit rate, but I do like their first halves, and that is Danny Avdija. You can take his PRA. They did post his fantasy score, which I am going to take on my free slip. Make sure you check your promotions tab. Some of you have gotten a free slip. I'm definitely including Danny Avdija's first half fantasy score on that slip. It's a free lineup. I did take the PRA on the 2-man, but Avdija, he's been averaging close to 20 as far as PRA. Fantasy score, he has block and steal potential. Dallas is playing handicap, no Kyrie, no Luka, so Avdija should do his thing. So I'll be taking that as my first leg on this free slip. Next one is Kessler, and I'm only taking his PRA on that day 1 of the Latter Day Challenge. Not taking his fantasy score, I think it's juiced over. Usually his full game fantasy is a better option. With the full game, there's a lot of Utah Jazz players on the popular tab. They believe a couple of players are going to go off. Collie Sexton has been on a tear as well. They have Johnny as well, his production has risen. But for Walker Kessler, I will be taking his PRA only, not his fantasy score. He does have turnovers, so it hurts his fantasy score. But Avdija, Kessler, those are my 2 that I'll be starting with. Let's head on over to the full game props. Top one I like is going to be Afreen Simmons. And for him, you got several options. You got his points. You also like his PRA. I'm personally going to be taking his fantasy score as soon as Price Picks loads up. And that is at 31. Got some push equity. He's got block and steal potential. Past 10 games, he's only missed his once. Past 5 games, he's been on a tear. As you can see, he's gone over. Matchup is there. Mavericks, like I mentioned, playing handicap. I think Simmons should do his thing, which I'm going to be taking his full game prop. Both of these players, I think they're going to go off, Simmons and Avdija for Portland. If you want, you can separate these two. Don't have them in the same list. I recommend to have them on separate list. But I am going to have Simmons on my free slip. Next one is Jared Allen. And for him, you got several options. Points, PRA, points and rebounds. Even his rebounds at 10.5 is decent. He's been averaging 12. It's a good option. I'm going to be taking his prop that I usually don't take, and that is his dunks, which is at 1.5. Been averaging 3 dunks. In the past 10 games, he's only missed his twice. So at 1.5, going against Toronto, I know Toronto had some size, but Allen's just been playing great ball. So I'm going to take over his dunks at 1.5. Probably going to get bumped or taken off. But if you want to play it safe, you can take his fantasy score or his points and rebounds, which I believe is at 24.5. Been shooting the ball great lately, so if his points is also in play. But his points, I'll most likely be pivoting to his Gabi at 10.5. Gone over past 10 games. He's 10 for 10, but you can see he's been doubling his point total. Next leg is Bradley Beal. And obviously he lost his starting role, but his assists at 3.5, too low coming off the bench. He's still been averaging well over 25 minutes. So assists at 3.5, I do like the over. Usually his line's at 4.5, 5. He is coming off the bench. He's getting massive minutes. He's been very, very productive off the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns put him back in the starting lineup. But his assists, very much in play at 3.5, especially when you have good scorers like Booker and Durant. And last one I like to mention, I know we got 5 already. One of them is obviously Jamal Morant, and Paulo Banchero is coming back of injury today. They'll be making their return. I know Morant's lines are juiced over. He's probably gonna have a longer leash than Paulo Banchero. Has missed over 30 games, so they're both gonna be on minutes restriction. But for Paulo Banchero, the line is way too low, especially for his first half. Kawhi Leonard just came back from injury a week ago, and he nearly played the entire first half and sat out the second half. So when they're on minutes restriction, usually they play the first half more than the second half. I believe when Kawhi Leonard came back, he played about 18 minutes in the first half alone. And then the second half, he only played a couple minutes, and then they took him out. I think they're going to do the same thing with Paulo Banchero. So his line at 13 for first half, I'm definitely going to take a shot at that. Even with the minutes restriction, all that minutes is going to come in the first half. So first half PRA and first half fantasy score, I'm definitely going to take. I have a free lineup. Why not take a shot on it? But Paulo and Morant, I suggest you guys stay away from them. As far as the full game props, I mean, you can take the unders on that, but it's hard to take unders on studs like this. So I'm going to pivot to Paulo Banchero's first half, and hopefully catches might be a sneaky pick. I figure I'll share that. Other than that, please like, subscribe, and comment. Appreciate the support, and see you guys in the next one.